Hello everyone and welcome to the next tutorial on duct tape stuff. Today we're going to be making a duct tape holder for a CD player. And I'm not sure how many of you still use CD players. I know I still use mine every now and then, especially when I don't want to take my iPod somewhere or something like that. So yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing today, a holder for a CD player. Your first step is to measure your CD player on the height and the width. And I know that most CD players aren't completely square shaped. Most of them kind of have curves to them, so you're going to have to compensate for that. But make sure that you measure the length on the height and the width and write those measurements down. So that's your first step. Okay, so for this particular CD player, this one here, it was about 5 inches wide. Now I'm going to go a little bit farther than that. I'm going to go to 5.5 inches, and you could probably just go a little bit farther than the actual measurements. If there's more duct tape on it, you can always cut it off. It's a lot harder to add more duct tape onto something than it is to just trim it. So I cut out a whole bunch of strips that are 5.5 inches long, and your first step is that you're going to take your first 2 strips, just like this, and you're going to stick them together. So you got your first 2 like that. Take a third one, and you're going to apply it towards the bottom here, just like that, just so that it covers up just a little bit. Flip it over, grab another one, and you're going to overlap it on here, just so it overlaps a little bit. And you're going to keep doing this with several 5.5 inch strips in this case until you get to the height of the CD player, which should be coming up pretty soon. So I'm going to overlap that there. Okay, let's see here. And I measured the height of the CD player, and that was about 5 3/4 inches, so I'm going to go to about 6 inches. So I need to measure this here. And it's not quite at 6 inches yet, so I'm going to have to put one more strip of duct tape here and then flip it over and then apply the other one up there. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so after applying those last 2 sheets, you have a sheet of duct tape, and it should be, for this case, I made mine 5.5 inches wide and 6 inches high. And if you take your CD player and you set it on top, okay, yep, and it fits perfectly on there with just a little bit to spare on both the top and the bottom and the sides. That's pretty good, so that's what you're going to do. So your next step is to make an exact duplicate of this sheet. Do the exact same thing that you just did all over again. Okay, so after you made your second sheet, just make sure that it lines up with the one you've already made and make sure that they're identical. And it looks like they are, so that's pretty good. So lay down the first sheet there, CD player on top of it, line it up as best you can, and put the other one on top, and that seems to work out pretty good. Okay, so now what we're going to work on are the sides and the bottom. Okay, now here's where it gets a little tricky. Now I turn the CD player so that the front's down here, so that this is the left side of it here, and you're going to cut out several strips that are the same length as the height here, because remember that's the front, so this is the height, and in this case it's 6 inches, so I'm going to cut out 4 of those strips. They're 6 inches long. Take the first 2, and I'll get rid of some of that there, and stick them together, just like that. Now what you're going to do is take this strip here, the third one, you know, slide this off a little bit, slide that back, and you're going to attach it so that about half of it is on the first sheet here, and half of it is on the surface that you're working on. So near you just connected it there. So now what you're going to do is put it back on, slide it forward again, and you're going to line it up, and you're just going to very carefully make sure that's lined up, flip the whole thing over, and don't worry if it gets too much out of alignment, because you can just fix it back again when you flip it over. Take this piece, peel it up just like this, and you're going to peel this piece down just a little bit, and then you're going to just push it up right next to it, just like that. And it's really going to fight you, because this is 2 strips of duct tape stuck together that you're trying to push down. But basically what you want to do is just pull it tight as you can so you can feel the CD players right there, and it could slide out the back here a little bit, so you want to make sure that's pushed down. And then your last step on this side is to take your last strip of duct tape right here, put that there for a second, and very carefully apply it on this side of the strip. And it's going to be real careful to make sure that it's tight, and then stick it onto the back. Just like that. And you might get a few little creases. That's just because the CD player is not perfectly square, it's curved, so duct tape doesn't curve very well. Okay, let's just move those out. Okay, so now you've got that one side down. If you really don't get it on the first time, then you can just try it again until you get it, and it should take a little bit of maneuvering, but you should be able to get it without too much trouble. So that's that side. So once you've gotten that one side completed, you can switch to the other side and you do the exact same thing on the other side. Now it should be a little bit easier to do the other side once you've gotten the one stuck down, because the CD player can't move around, it can't sneak out the back because it's got that sheet of duct tape there. So just do the other side here, so you got both sides good, and you can see the CD player is in there. Now your next step is to do the bottom, and you're going to do the bottom in the exact same way that you did the sides here. So you cut out a strip of duct tape, that's the length of the bottom here, and you can pinch the sides just a little bit so you have a little bit of a flat surface to work on, and then you just do the exact same thing that you did on the side, but just right here on the bottom. Alright, so once you've gotten the bottom all done, the top and the lid is pretty much up to you. You can make it come all the way down here and you want it to slip in, or you put it like a piece of Velcro, stick it down. I just took a small strip of duct tape that's the same length as this, was it with 5.5 inches, and then I took a smaller piece and stuck it together, and then this allows it to actually slide inside like this. Just like that. So that's the way I wanted it. You can really modify it any way you want, though. So a few ways you can modify your CD player holder is like put belt loops in the back so you can carry it around your belt. I cut a hole for the headphone jack, which is right in there. I cut a hole for the screen here, and I know where all my buttons are already because I know my CD player pretty well, but I just have little cutouts for the buttons where they are. And that's pretty much it. So that's how to make a duct tape CD holder. And I guess I'll see you guys next time, so take care and have fun making this.